Hello, and welcome to the TrailblazeHers podcast, where we chat with women who are trailblazing in business in their own unique ways, their journeys, and their missions. I'm your host, Isha Solanki, and our guest today is someone who is encouraging females all over the world to live their best life possible. Her dream and vision is to create a global movement of financially savvy female investors. Armed with a wealth of knowledge, she has become a guiding light for females seeking to break free from the traditional 9 to 5 grind and embrace a life of purpose and leisure. After teaching finances for 20 years at collegiate level, she celebrated her own early retirement at the age of 45. After retiring and purchasing an 8-acre farm in northern Utah, she realized her true calling, guiding others to achieve financial independence and retire early, allowing them to focus on what truly matters. In 2022, she founded the Wealth Building Mastermind, a coaching program dedicated to empowering females to take control of their financial future. Her approach goes beyond spreadsheets and retirement calculators, and she delves deep into her clients' values, goals, and passions to turn her clients' dreams into a reality. From my own personal experience of working within the mastermind, she makes wealth building super simple to understand. You've managed to achieve what so many women aspire to: financial independence and retiring at 45. I'd love to know a little bit more about your journey to there. And what was that moment when you realized that financial independence was possible for you?
I was teaching and didn't even think about the possibility of retiring early. I just thought traditionally I'll just work until I'm 65 like everybody else, and I hadn't given any thought to it. And there was a new teacher that came on board, and he was 2 years, became my financial mentor. He had 2 years until he was going to retire. And he was dropping off his kids at school in the morning so his wife could jog. And he kind of described what financial independence looked like. And I thought that is the best idea ever. So I started working towards that and just educating myself I kind of randomly pulled age 45. I thought that's young enough to still enjoy my life. And it gives me time to prepare for an early retirement. So I just determined pretty quickly that 45 was when I wanted to exit the workforce.
You've created this incredible wealth building mastermind specifically for women. What inspired you to focus on empowering women in particular? And how did this vision come to life?
That's a great question. I have taught both male and female how to retire early, how to invest. I feel like the women of the world are underserved for learning for them how to become empowered to retire, and often are told you're not smart enough to do this, or this is a man's job to do this.
Feel smart enough, I think, a lot of them, because that's what they're told so much.
Exactly. Or you're a woman, you don't need to worry about it. So none of that is true. And it's incredibly empowering to know for yourself that you have like all of the smarts necessary, all of the tools necessary to create wealth. And to also, one of the other reasons I think is really important to teach women is that they teach their children how to invest, and it becomes a legacy within a family. So wealth building becomes normal. If you teach your kids to ski or to ride horses, it's the same thing. Investing just becomes a natural and a normal part of the family. And it's, oh, my mom knows how to invest. That she taught me how to invest, and the kids start investing at a really young age. And it just changes the dynamics going forward, and it creates a legacy of wealth and abundance within families.
Well, the women out there who don't maybe quite understand what wealth and investing is, could you explain to them what you mean by that in terms of what that means for them?
Happy to. So really just I teach women how to invest in the stock market. So we purchase portions of companies that sell real things to real people and make it very simple and make it very successful so that anybody can learn how to do this. For me, having wealth is building enough money so that you have a reserve. So you can get to the point where you are no longer need to work. You no longer need to earn money because your money that you've invested is now working for you, and it covers all of your costs, all of your expenses. It covers all of your bills. And so we call that financial independence, where you no longer have to work for money because you've gotten to the point where you've put that to work for you, and then your money does the work. So that's the whole joy of having this. It brings a lot of peace and security.
Thank you for explaining that. I think that would be helpful to a lot of women listening. Is there a particular type of woman that would get the most out of a wealth building mastermind?
I have so many different personalities. I've worked with so many different women. It really comes down to this. If somebody is determined to do it, they're interested in doing it. Maybe they've been curious for most of their life about learning how to invest, or they've always wanted to learn how to invest. Maybe they've watched YouTube videos. Maybe they've read books. Maybe they've tried to talk to somebody. That's the person. If they want to learn about it, they will be successful. So it actually doesn't matter how much they earn. We have the whole scale. The principles are the same. It's really about desire. Because I started out as a school teacher making about $25,000 a year. And I was making a little bit more than that when I met my financial mentor. But it's really about changing your mindset and understanding the possibilities for you. What is it? $3 trillion changes hands every single day. So really, we just need to dip our bucket into that stream. And we talk about a lot of ways to kind of get out of our own way when it comes to building wealth. And sometimes we just accept, oh, I'm never going to earn more than X amount per year. And that's not actually true. And it doesn't have to be that way. And so opening new possibilities and just showing people what's possible and then allowing them to say, yeah, I really would love that.
Building wealth isn't just about numbers, it's also about mindset. Typically, what mindset your participants or your members begin with? And then what are some of the most significant mindset shifts that women need to embrace to achieve financial independence?
A lot of women come in, I would say most women, most people in general, deal with scarcity. And that looks different for different people. Scarcity for some people means I spend everything I earn and I don't have anything to show for what all the years that I've been working, all the money that I've made. Other people will spend nothing and they'll try to be really frugal and they value every single dollar. And they've been told by parents or grandparents, you need to stretch this dollar to the utmost limits. Both of those I feel are the same issue. It's just different ends of the same stick. So it's scarcity, meaning that I've got to spend it all because I don't know when I'm going to get more money, or I have to save it all because I don't know when I'm going to get more money. But either way, you have scarcity. And we want to get to the point where there's an abundant flow of money. We can happily release money for things that bring us joy or give us value. And we're always going to have bills and expenses and some fun things, right? A lot of fun things, hopefully. But we don't want to not spend any money, and we don't want to spend all of our money. We get to a happy medium so we have a healthy relationship with money. And that gets to the point where I'm going to spend money on things that I value and bring me joy. I'm not going to waste money. I'm going to be a good steward of money. I actually believe and teach that money is attracted to me. Money wants to be with me because it knows I'm going to treat it well. And I find money all the time. I want people to be kind of a money magnet and not believe this dollar that I just earned is going to be my last. I want you to view money as a tool where you put it to work for you, kind of like an apple seed. If I plant an apple seed, I'm going to get a tree with a bunch of apples on it. And then each of those apples have a bunch of seeds. So I view money as the same thing. And having a healthy, happy relationship with money is knowing that there's more coming. I will earn more in the future than I'm earning now. And my money will grow for me and it will get bigger and bigger. And you get more confidence. You also have, as you see the numbers go up in your investment account and you are paying off debt, and all of these things combine together, and it becomes easier and easier to be more and more successful and to make more and more money.
What unique challenges do women face, do you find, when building wealth, or what are some of the most common obstacles that you have seen?
I would say viewing themselves as only having limited potential for earnings and thinking in their minds, I can only earn $30,000 a year, or I can only be paid $15 an hour, or I can only get to this place in the company, or whatever the limitations of. It's usually a money thing. When I say to people I had a woman say, I have $1,000 extra per month, and my plan is just to invest for the next 10 years, an extra $1,000. And I said, there's different levels of mindset. And right now, $1,000 extra per month is where you're at. But I want you to have $12,000 a year's worth a month extra. I want you to be able to invest $12,000 extra a month. Then the next level of the mindset is I want you to be able to earn $12,000 a day. And that usually puts people over the edge. Some people think, oh, I could take any amount of money in, but really we can't, and we will self-sabotage and we end up in the fetal position. If somebody who earns $25,000 a year earned $25,000 in a day, I guarantee they're going to put the brakes on. They're going to self-sabotage. They're going to be in the fetal position. They will stop doing whatever it is that brought them that money for a month or two until they feel like it equals out. I've seen it over and over and over again. We have to adjust to, and we have to open up to different levels of mindset. And once we get there, then the old way of doing things like, oh, I used to have $1,000 extra per month, and now I have 12,000 extra per month. You can't even imagine when you were back in that place. But we really do have to open up and clear any blocks and mindset issues. It may have been from our family, it may be from media, it may be from ourselves, it may just be something that we picked up along the way. It doesn't actually matter. We're neutral in where that came from. We just want to get to the point where, what is your potential and what would you actually love? Now, if you don't want to get to $12,000 a day, there's no shame in that, but it's really about finding what resonates with you.
It sounds like there's quite a lot of facets to this. So number one, it's about your mindset. I mean, in terms of growth mindset, into where your money comes from. So are you continuously looking for where you can earn more money in order to make more investments so you have a better life, by the sounds of things, and how you spend that money or don't spend it, what your priorities are, and how you, I don't know, it sounds a lot like many women maybe have self-limiting beliefs. So then maybe they'll earn the 25,000 in a day and then go, oh, well, I'm not really worth any more than this. We're done for a few months now, and they don't continue to repeat that. Whereas I know from what you say, there is plenty of money to go around. We just have to be able to absorb it and then use it in the right way. Would you agree with that or have a different perspective on it?
I love that. I also would add that as women, sometimes we get the phrase into our head, it's too much.
Yeah.
And instead of moving into success, we pull back. It's too much. It's too much happiness. It's too much abundance. It's too much joy. It's too much. And that phrase really limits. So I would say when you get to that point, I want you to move into that, step into that and say, what is my actual true potential? I think we kind of underestimate what we're capable of. So moving towards that happiness, moving towards that joy, moving towards that having more in your investment account. I have mastermind members who have joined and said, if you would have told me how much I have now in my investment account, that this was possible, I wouldn't have believed you. And so sometimes we just have to take it incrementally by steps, but trying to move closer to what you want instead of saying, oh, it's too much, and really digging into, why do I feel like it's too much? Instead of moving towards that, like, oh, that was great, I'm going to do that again 3 times, instead of like saying, oh, I have earned too much. One other interesting thing I'll mention is when women and old people receive some kind of an inheritance, they will usually spend that down to the point of their comfort level. So they may get $1 million, let's say, as an example. By the time they come to me, they've spent about 75% of that, where I could have said, hey, let's just set this up. We'll make you financially independent, like instantly. But because they didn't earn it or feel like they didn't deserve it, and that's probably the core of the issue, they'll spend it down to the point where it's now comfortable. They'll give it away. They'll spend it. They'll just get rid of it in any form. And that's a human condition, which you wouldn't think about. You think, oh, some people think I want to win the lottery. This would be so great. It'll change my life. You really do have to be in a place where it makes sense to you and you're open to having that. And more importantly, knowing what to do with it when it comes.
I think that's the important bit. A lot of us don't know what to do with it when it comes, especially if we're not expecting it to come or we don't think we're worthy of having it and all those, and we don't think about those scenarios or play them out and actively seek help in what we would do. You know what, Lisa, I'm sure you've seen some really amazing transformations. Is there a success story from someone who went through your mastermind and then completely transformed their financial situation?
Yes, so many. Let me do kind of a conglomerate case study. There's so many women who really it takes between 1 and 3 months for them to completely feel differently about finances, to feel confident, to feel confidence, to feel, oh, wow, I've got this. I can do this. And it's kind of an exciting thing. This whole world opens up. So between 1 and 3 months, the light bulb moment goes on. And at that point, people become unstoppable. And although each situation is slightly different with people who come in to the mastermind, at this point, they start getting really creative as to how can I reduce my expenses? How can I get more money invested into the stock market? Because I know that every $5,000 I invest grows it to $150,000 over time. And so they start this process. I would say for me, to my joy and the huge privilege I have is watching the transformation of women go from, I don't know anything about the stock market. Literally, I don't even know how this works. Tell me how this works. To, whoa, look at this, look at the balance in my investment account. So that transformation leads to it bleeds out into all other areas of life. So finances always lead to confidence in other areas. It's like a keystone habit. So someone going from I don't even know what the stock market is to I understand how the stock market functions. An example that I would give you is I happen to have started my mastermind right before the 2022 recession. And so I was encouraging people to buy more, invest more as the market was going down. So they're like, Lisa, you want me to invest more and my account balance is going down? Yes, that is the key to making more money. And so the people who are willing to get in, the phrase that I always teach is you'll wish that you had purchased more. Like I wish I had, bought more. And so they said that at the end when their account balance after the recession was over and the stock market has continued to go up from there. But looking at that account balance and being so empowered, being so proud of themselves for doing something that would be a really scary situation if you'd never done it before. But we just look at cycles of the market and we take advantage of that. But the transformation from somebody going from I don't know anything to I am completely empowered and look at my account balance. I have people who will send me screenshots of their returns. I have people who will send me screenshots of look how much passive income I'm earning now. Look, from dividends or other things, investments that they're in. And so it's just the joy of somebody feeling peace and knowing what's going on, and their family might not even know that they're doing all of this, but for them, it becomes life-changing. Then they go on to do other things that they may have been fearful of doing previously.
How interesting is that finance and money blocks are related to like so many other facets of your life as well. And I think one of them actually from what you're saying is confidence to go out and try other things, whatever that may be. For any woman listening who may just be starting their financial independence journey or they haven't begun yet, what's the first step you'd recommend to take right now?
I think the first step, and I'm into empowering other people. Because that's where the power comes, really, honestly. The first step is opening your mind to the possibility that you can be successful with money, with building wealth, and competent in investing in the stock market. So we make this super simple. There's no reason to complicate it. The message out there in the media and the world is you're not smart enough to manage your own money. And that's done on purpose because other people want you to pay them to do it. You can actually get a higher return generally by doing it yourself. And you can have a huge amount of success. So the first step is belief that it's possible and sitting with that and then saying, okay, if it's possible and I'm interested in it, then how do I do that? And so for me, just the mindset part of, I think I can do this. Because we start out, there's different levels of acceptance is I'm interested in this. I'm going to look into this. Then, oh, this looks reasonable to, I think I can do this. And when people get to the point of, I think I can do this, then they have all sorts of options open to them, meaning that they are ready to learn and ready to learn how to invest.
You think that's also the biggest misconception women have about wealth building? That they don't know where to start and maybe they need to start thinking differently? Or do you have other misconceptions that you have to debunk in order for women to begin?
I think people come with all sorts of different maybe fears or worries, concerns, some anxiety. Money tends to be like imbued with so much emotion. And it may just be something that your grandmother said, or it might be something your father said. I've had people who came and they said, my dad taught me if I didn't make $1 million a year, I was worthless. And he, at the same time, also taught me that rich people are horrible. And so you couldn't win. Like you were either bad because you didn't have money or you were horrible because you did. And so there's all different things that we come to the table with. And really, it's about debunking those myths. And the biggest one is that I can't learn to invest. And that's absolutely not true. But that's kind of the overall thing. There might be underlying things within that. But just being really gentle with yourself and saying, if Lisa as a school teacher did this and retired, then I think I can too.
I genuinely believe that you're not just helping women become financially independent, but I do believe that you're contributing to a larger movement. Do you see your work impacting the bigger picture and society as a whole rather than just helping women become financially independent? Because I know that I'm really passionate and I'm really supportive of what you do. I do believe more women should become financially independent and rely on themselves.
I would love to see where we can confidently and comfortably talk around the dinner table about investing, about making money, about how we put money to work for us and how it replaces us in the workforce. So I would love to create a movement of, and actually the women themselves are creating this movement of sharing it with all of their friends, all their aunts, their nieces. I got to get my daughters into the program, getting to the point where it's spread by word of mouth because it's just a normal thing that we talk about. We have these rules like, oh, it's not polite to talk about money, but then that just makes it so the children, the family are like, I have no idea. They have to just kind of pick up things. My financial mentor and other successful people teach their children how to invest. And so it's a non-issue. If we don't talk about it, it becomes this big mystery. But it's really pretty simple process. And we talk about a set it and forget it system, that we're not spending hours. We're not looking at charts every day. Honestly, I haven't checked the stock market today. I'm not obsessed by what the stock market's doing because we make money whether the market goes up or down. And having this really neutral, healthy stance and just being able to have this conversation in households around the world. It doesn't matter what country you come from, all of the money issues are the same. I work with women all over the world, and they will say the exact same thing growing up in a completely different country. So the money issues are pretty universal, and so are the fears about money. Really, we just want to be really practical and simple about how we approach it and how we teach that as women, as mothers, as aunts, and just making this so that it's just a thing. So we talk about makeup and we talk about money.
I love that. Absolutely love that. And it should be more acceptable for us to be able to talk about it. I know that I get locked out of lots of conversations, and sometimes I actually have something valuable to add. I would really like to be part of this male dominated conversation. And maybe I could teach you a few things while I'm there now. I would love to know what's next for your mastermind. What do you hope to bring next? Because you've done some incredible work so far, Lisa.
Thank you. What we are working on is expansion and making this available to everybody. So we have offered an entry-level investing program for $7 that anybody could get into. The mastermind has 3 levels. And what I would love to see next is how do we create a legacy of wealth? When you get to the point where you no longer need to think about money, and I know that seems so far away for most people, I have mastermind members now who the next thing that they need is how do I set up a legacy? How do I let my money then work for generations after I'm gone from this earth? How do I give to a cause that's really meaningful to me? I have women who want to help educate girls in India. We have women who want to set up shelters for dogs, for stray dogs. We have a whole gamut of whatever it is that they're interested and passionate about. So the next thing is how do we set up this so that your money kind of grows forever? Similar to like an Ivy League college in the United States where they actually live off of an endowment, right? The college gets a percentage, takes the interest that's invested. I want to do the same thing with mastermind members so that they can actually set up a trust or a nonprofit organization, whatever they would like, so that their money just continues to fund and bring more light to the world, bless more lives. And really, I believe that when you become financially independent, you can accomplish whatever it is that you came to earth to do. I think everybody has light to give, and it benefits the world, the planet in a certain way. And so my job is to make it, like my life goal is to make it so that you can accomplish your life goals through taking the financial concern out of the picture. And once you have that in place, your spirit just thrives. You just open up and all things become possible. It just opens up the door to all possibilities.
Do follow us on Instagram, LinkedIn, or visit thetrailblazehers.com to stay updated on future episodes and behind the scenes content. Once again, I'm Disha Solanki with Lisa Smith of the Wealth Building Mastermind, and you've been listening to the Trailblazers. Thank you for joining us today.